Hello and welcome. I am Shantae Hightower, an early childhood education business coach. In today's presentation, we'll go over Is it time to grow your business for the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation. The information contained here has been prepared by Civitas Strategies Early Start and is not intended to constitute legal, tax, or financial advice. The Civitas Strategies Early Start team has used reasonable efforts in collecting, preparing, and providing this information, but does not guarantee its accuracy, completeness, adequacy, or currency. The publication and distribution of this information is not intended to create and does not constitute an attorney-client or any other advisory relationship. Reproduction of this information is expressly prohibited. In today's conversation, we'll discuss what are the initial steps that I should take before expanding my business? What resources are there to help me? And how business coaching can support me. When looking to expand your business, what should you look for? These things can include a needs assessment for the area and services that need to be provided, finances, staffing needs, and clarifying your goal. Resources for assessing the needs, creation of a budget, and a business plan are areas that we will provide resources for, and a business coach can support you in these areas as well. Expanding your childcare business can be a great strategy for the long term that builds productivity, brings in more revenue, and most importantly, brings quality childcare to more children. Let's take a look at what expansion means. Opening a new business or expanding an existing one by adding slots or a new location. What does this look like and what does it mean for your business? Sometimes small businesses will grow too fast or move forward without the necessary structure and capacity to execute the expansion, which can weaken or even end a business rather than strengthen it. What does this mean? There's a need that you can't provide. Do you have a waiting list for children that you're currently not able to meet? Do your expenses outweigh your revenues? Do you have enough money coming into the business to support operations? Do you have the staffing available to support your business to maintain licensing standards? Your process or infrastructure can't keep up. Do you need support in developing a new plan to support growth? Where you started may not fit where you're currently trying to go. 5 steps to expansion planning. 1. Assess your demand. 2. Line up your staff. 3. Develop a clear picture of your finances. 4. Create a business plan. And 5. Access capital to support your growth. Why do you assess your demand? It's important to know that your business will have the people available to support growth. How do you line up your staff? Where do you get the people? Is there a way that you can connect with others? What does a clear financial future look like? Things like budget and capital to support your finances and growth and development so that you know how you can operate and for how long are important. Why do I need a business plan and how do I create it? The business plan outlines your goals for your business and you can get support in creating it, which we'll discuss later. What is access to capital and how does it support my growth? Discussion of this will be talked about further in Step 5. Step 1. Assess your demand. Do you have a wait list? This could be the first indicator that it may be a good idea to expand your program if you have more demand than you have slots available. Is there a demand for the type of care you plan to offer? Assess the needs of your community by talking with current families, those on your wait list, and others in the community. Does your plan align with the needs of your community? Be sure to talk with your current families to better understand if they would be willing to be a part of your expanded childcare program. You can find the link for more resources on how to expand listed here. Step 2. Line up your staff. It is important to think about lining up your staff in advance. You do not need every position filled before you start to grow, but you should have a solid idea of what your staffing needs are going to be. Start with conversations with your existing employees about their interest in a new location. If you're expanding into a new region, it is also helpful to ask people familiar with the area about ways to attract employees. Ensure that you are realistic about your staffing needs and your ability to attract and retain employees. 3. Develop a clear picture of your finances. You'll want to ensure that you have a budget for the current year to guide your growth and planning. Ensure that you have a clear picture of your financial health by developing a cash flow forecast for the next 6 to 12 months. It's helpful to have a clear record-keeping system in place as you work to understand your finances. You can see resources and templates available at the website listed below. A deeper look at budget versus cash flow. Budget. This tells you how much you think you're going to spend and how much you're spending over a year. Your cash flow tells you how much money you have coming in and how much you have going out on a monthly basis. Now let's take a look at an example of your budget and cash flow. Assume that you have $5,000 in expenses over the year and you have $6,000 in revenue against it. That may look good to you. You see and know that you're going to make a profit of $1,000 for the year. Why is this important to know? If you are not able to pay the operating costs, this can affect services that you provide. For example, if you are not able to pay the mortgage or rent on the space, or if you can't sustain the utilities and you are unable to continue operating. Here's a second example. Assume that you'll have $5,000 in expenses in January, but you do not get paid the $6,000 until March. Using cash flow, you can see that you have a potential problem because you must pay the expenses before the cash comes in. Can your business withstand floating expenses like these before your revenue comes in? A deeper look at budget versus cash flow. You should be aware of how much you're spending versus how much you are taking in per month so that you can understand if this additional burden is going to be one that you can accept or one that might be devastating. We've given 2 scenarios here for you to see. 4. Create a business plan. It is critical to have a game plan for your growth and to make sure that you have a keen understanding of what you plan to undertake, how you're going to line up families and children you need to bring in revenue, if you have the staff on hand to make it a success, that you have all of the facility permits and licenses needed to open for business on time, and that you'll have cash flow throughout at least the first year so that you can keep paying your bills and obligations. In step 4, here are a few more things that you can do in the creation of your business plan. Document the needs in your area. Understand your current enrollment and levels of service. Review your budget and cash flow to understand your financial position and create a timeline for implementation. Step 5, access capital to support your growth. Accessing capital can be helpful because it provides money to help you grow to then make more money. However, you should make sure that you are able to handle any associated costs with accessing capital. Even the most successful businesses experience fluctuations in sales revenue, causing a disruption of cash flow. Having access to quick capital funding when sales revenue declines is crucial. Resources available to you, and you can find them at the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation's website, where we've listed the link below. There, you can find guides and videos, links to resources in English and Spanish, and register for business coaching.